Hello everyone and welcome to another Rise of Kingdoms video. This is Dragothian here, and today I'm going to be doing something that another question that I've been asked quite often, and just through experience and trial and error I have noticed trends that you should be able to use for your own purposes when deciding what to bring out on the battlefield, what to rally with, why the different things happen in the game where it doesn't make sense. This should hopefully help make sense of some of those things. This video is going to be on what causes more slightly wounded versus severely wounded. And again, part of the formula that we had on the video yesterday regarding the stats, attack, defense, and health. But this is an extension of that because it's not just about the stats, but it's about the situation. And it's also about the commanders that you're using that will drive this conversation. So first and foremost, again, if you have not done so already, you need to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and the bell notification. Make sure you're getting all this good content coming your way whenever I put it up. So with that being said, let's jump into it. I've got two armies from my T5 account here. One's a fully maxed out Attila Takeda, and the other one is a fully maxed out Genghis and YSG. And you should already see the difference between these two. Attila Takeda is 100% normal and counterattack damage based. There is no nuking capability whatsoever, no skill damage capability. And then obviously with Genghis and YSG, almost full nuking capability. The damage that's going to be coming out from this army will have normal and counterattack damage, but the majority of the damage that's coming out of this army will be skill-based, skill damage-based. The numbers will be significantly larger coming out of that. So the reason I'm doing this is because I want to show you that there's a few things that go into slightly versus severely wounded, and I'm going to show you some reports as well on my main account. But just as importantly, the actual 1 versus 1 situation here will show you really definitively what exactly dictates slightly versus severely wounded, okay? More so than anything else. I mean, there's a lot of things that go, factor-wise into it. I'll go ahead and put them up on the screen here really quick just to kind of show you. The troop type is a big deal, so not just what you're using, but what you're going up against. If you're cavalry and you're going up against infantry, the infantry should be giving you more severely wounded because infantry are better against cavalry, base troop damage to base troop damage. Again, that doesn't necessarily pan out as far as winning and losing, but again, you'll see a significantly higher severely wounded ratio with cav going up against infantry because infantry is their counter. Same thing with archers. If you're fighting with archers and you're going up against a cavalry unit, you can expect to take more severely wounded because the stats, the formula, the base damage formula is swayed heavily on your counter. So if you're fighting something that's your counter, you're going to innately take more severely wounded that way. The other thing is going to be the buffs and the stats. Again, we went over this yesterday on what those all mean. There's a couple different pieces of this that go into the severely wounded, slightly wounded ratio from what I can tell. Again, I think this is fairly minor compared to what we're about to go into and what I'm really going to showcase for you today and what the major impact on severely versus slightly wounded troops are. And then the third thing is the situation. So is this a rally or is this open field? Again, open field, you're just going to have slightly and severely wounded unless your hospital's full. Whereas with a rally, you not only have to calculate severely and slightly wounded troops, but you also have to calculate dead. So there's a piece that goes into that as well, and there's also different flavors inside of there. Again, how big is your hospital, things like that. But to me, the way you should calculate anything that involves dead troops is severely wounded plus dead is your severely wounded number, and then slightly wounded is your slightly wounded number. So you just have to combine those two red numbers and you should be in really good shape. So with that being said, what I'm going to do, and I'll go ahead and take these off of the screen here so you can see this full in its glory. We're going to start, and what I'm going up against, by the way, is a Baybars Sun Tzu. Again, full cav. I wanted it to be equal versus equal. This is my alt account, and this is one of my other mains. So with this, we've got full tech in the cav tree. The alliance is basically full tech as well. However, not as many shrines, not as many altars, things like that. But that won't matter. The ratio between severely and slightly wounded will be significantly noticeable. I will show you this you're going to see a big difference between these two armies attacking each other, and they're both cav coming from the two green armies here, but you'll see a significant difference. This is 210,000 T5 conquistadors with Spain, and then these are 210,000 each. These are German, what are they called? Teutonic Knights, yeah. These are no, I'm Ottoman, I'm sorry. These are regular Royal Knights, I apologize. So these are regular Royal Knights, no special bonuses, nothing like that, whereas these are conquistadors. So they should have, again, a little bit of a leg up. The technologies are roughly the same. The Alliance tech is definitely better on the 1AVG side versus the #Ale side. But again, that's not going to be the big difference here. You're going to see the big difference in just a moment. So let me go ahead and fire it up with Genghis YSG first. We'll go ahead and have this battle really quick. Then I'm going to refresh my army and bring it out, and we're going to put it up against Attila Takeda. And then I'm going to show you the two reports, and you'll see the difference between the two. Let me back this guy up so he doesn't take any AoE damage. Woo, that was close. I don't want him to take any AoE damage and have to run him all the way back over here because it's about a 3-minute run. So I want to pop it over here. But you can see the difference in some of the tech here, the Alliance tech, because these technically are equal from a personal account standpoint. They both have T5 cav. They both have maxed out cavalry technology and all the other bonuses that are individual based. But the Alliance tech is making a big difference. And then also, of course, 2 legendaries versus 2 epics. This is what the difference looks like. And that's part of the troop conversation that we talked about earlier. The troops do matter. T4 versus T5, there's a base stat difference there. So you're going to see a significant escalation in severely wounded because the stat difference is so dramatic. But T5 versus T5, I'm really trying to show you what this looks like from a difference between slightly and severely wounded. You're going to see it here. It's going to be pretty stark difference between the two. You'll notice that what I'm getting at here is that skill damage, which is what I'm doing right now with Genghis YSG, causes a lot more slightly wounded troops to the enemy, whereas normal and counterattack damage, so the white number that goes above here, causes a lot more severely wounded. So this army's almost done. This was pretty much a trouncing, to be honest. Let me go ahead and send that guy back as well. Let's open it up, and we're going to do these side by side as well, but just to show you. So severely wounded 30,283, slightly wounded 180,000 roughly, which is basically like 18% ratio if I had to kind of take a stab in the dark here, maybe close to 20%. 1 to 6 ratio. So 30,000 times 6 is 180,000. So like a 1 to 6 ratio is what this caused from a severely wounded standpoint against Baybar Sun Tzu, 310.8 thousand power loss. So let me go over back to my other account and pull out a new set of troops. Same setup, same commanders. I'm not changing the build. I'm not changing nothing. This is just going to be like versus like conquistadors. Now, let me double check that. I think I might have actually had T4 on that. Let me confirm. Troop buffs. So again, these are both maxed out. You can see the difference in the troop buffs here. Cav defense 110% across the board. To be honest, I had less attack than... That's interesting. That's very interesting. I had less attack. I'm off tile. I'm off territory. This is off territory right here. I'm curious. That's very interesting. The attack was higher with Baybar Sun Tzu. Stuff to look at, right? This is why we test. All right, so I've got... Oh, let me again. I was checking. I'm sorry. So let me check the... Come on, where are you at? Here we go. Those are T5. Okay, those were also T5. Okay, good. Just want to make sure. Wanted to be like for like. All right, so here we go. Let me switch back over to the other account again, so I can actually move them. All right, here we go. We're marching. All right, so as this one's coming on, I expect a significantly higher severely wounded count coming from Attila Takeda, because again, the three things I talked about earlier, but just as important, and to me more important from what I've seen just in battle in general, and it's not just with Cav guys, I'm going to go into what the other side of that coin means. With more normal and counterattack damage, you should see a significant boost in severely wounded to your enemy. That is why, again, you tend to see more severely wounded when you do rallies with either Attila Takeda, which I think we've all seen those rallies, and I'll show you some of those reports as well, but also infantry. Infantry tend to have very, very high severely wounded ratios to slightly wounded because, again, the majority of their damage, especially if you do a Richard Charles or Charles Richard, or even like a Charles Leo or a Richard Leo, or even throwing Alex in there. He does have a nuke, but it's very it's a proccable thing. It's not necessarily something that happens all the time. So you'll see those numbers go up when you're using infantry because, again, they cause most of their damage from normal and counterattack damage, not necessarily from skill damage. So as you can see, again, we're T5 versus T5 here, and I was looking at the stats from that last report, and the stats were not that bad, guys. This is really just commander versus commander here. Attila Takeda being full maxed out legendaries versus Babar Sun Tzu. While they're very, very good one-on-one, you just don't one versus one epics versus legendaries. It's just the same thing with T4. If you've got T4, one army of T4, and you see a T5 army in front of you, you just don't one versus one it. It's not smart. You're going to take significant severely wounded, and that's part of the number one thing that we talked about, troop type. Not only the tier of troop, but also what is powering those troops with the commanders themselves. And then the second option, again, I'll put them back up on the screen here really quick before this match is done. First one was the troops. Second one was the buffs and the stats, which, again, we just took a look at as well. And then the third one, again, is rally versus open field. You need to make sure that you're taking into account what you're rallying. Is it a flag? Is it a zone 1 pass where there are no dead? Which zone tier are you in as far as the ratio between dead and severely wounded? Those should add up to the same number as if it was an open field battle, but just something to keep in mind. So again, this battle's taking a little bit longer, and again, it's because there is no skill damage coming from the Attila Takeda army. But once I open up this report, you're going to see a massive difference in severely wounded. And again, this is T5 versus T5. The account that has the Babars is max Cav Tech, max War Tech, T5 units with special units, conquistadors versus just generic royal guards as well. And this is off tile as well, so there should be no alliance tech bonuses or anything like that. All right, so that ended. Let's take a peek. I'm almost scared. There you go. That's the difference, guys. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Same army. I attacked the same exact army, same tech, same everything. Babar Sun Tzu don't have any proccable style skills that doesn't happen every single time whenever they cast their skills. And Attila Takeda does. There's some procking there as far as like normal and counterattack damage. But I know for a fact that again, this was just one. This was the only one we did this with. So again, we just saw the last one here. Let me scroll down to this one. This was 30,000 with a skill damage, heavy skill damage based. I wanted to give you both extremes, guys. So heavy skill damage based against the same group, and then we've got heavy normal and counterattack damage against the same group. This is why Attila Takeda is so devastating, because not only is his stuff really geared towards causing maximum destruction on rallies and open field, the reason why that's the case is because of his stats. So if you take a look at the troop buffs, my Cav attack jumped from 100 and something to 210. That's a huge difference. The stat increase there, and then this affects the normal and the counterattack damage, and the higher that number is, that is why you'll see those big severely wounded numbers. This was a costly video for you guys, but I gotta show it to you. 1.2 million. So this is why you see those numbers, and this is why when people are swarming an Attila Takeda rally, you'll see this, because the counterattack damage is so significant from an Attila Takeda, even from, again, infantry. Somebody swarming an Alex Richard rally, full infantry, that's hurtful. That hurts bad on the severely wounded case, because you're going up against 3 million troops or 2 million troops or whatever's being rallied, and you've only got a maximum of 310,000 for your army. That's a significant difference from a troop capability standpoint, those stats we talked about yesterday, right? But then also what your counterattack damage coming in is versus what your defense and health are. It's just not going to stack up right, and because those counterattack damage numbers are so high with infantry and with an Attila Takeda type of setup, that's why these numbers are so high. So hopefully this was a really good explanation of why this works the way it does. Here's another example here. Let me go to this one here. So this was on a city, 2.4 million versus 1.8 million, roughly the same number, a few, 700,000 less. But again, look at the difference. Look at the delta. Dead plus severely wounded, 1.4 million versus only 300,000 slightly wounded because of the normal and counterattack damage. This is a significant thing here. And it doesn't give me the troop buffs because it's so old. But here's another one here. This was like for like, 1.5 million versus 1.5 million. Again, they caused a lot more dead because infantry counters cav. So even though we caused a lot of dead here, right, 1.5 million, this has a lot to do with just how powerful Attila Takeda is. And this was post-nerf, by the way. But look at the slightly wounded number here. So 1.4 million to 5 million slightly wounded. So a lot of reinforcements you can see right here. And that's actually my reinforcements. These reinforcements probably won't be able to tell at all. Yeah, I'm not going to get any of the stats here, but you see what I'm saying. Like this, if this was first off, this is a great anti-nuke pairing for the most part. But this is the tried and true Charles Constantine on the defense against Attila Takeda, and a lot of it, we did a video on it before about needing proper reinforcement and constant reinforcement. I also had another army on this attacking with we had another rally on top of it and attacking with a debuff army as well. I'm not sure if it'll show it or not. Yeah, it doesn't show it. Oh, these were people attacking the rally. Yeah, see, severely wounded here. Cav versus Cav, not too bad, 40,000. But this was the flag itself when he switched garrisons. That was not smart. This was army versus army, again, 34,000 versus 17,000 severely wounded. Again, infantry beating up on Cav. This would normally be higher, and it likely is because of the heal. The heal from Richard is bringing more troops back, which is boosting that number. Attila Takeda here with a counter rally, it looks like. And again, you can see the counter rally effect here. He was only getting half of the damage. You can see it. 150,000 basically is what this should have been if I was getting full damage here, whereas he was getting counterattack damage. So again, I mean, these are all numbers that are kind of adding up to exactly what I'm saying. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully you've liked it. And again, appreciate y'all joining me as always. I guess I'll see you guys next time. Cheers. Have a good one. And take care.